Hey guys, this is Naveen here. Welcome back to Naveen Automation Labs. So in this video, we are going to talk about how to hit a put call with Karate. So far what we have seen this a post API feature also we have seen that, and we were creating a request payload and complete request that we are creating, and we were sending the request, passing the header and everything and getting the 201. And we have already seen that if you want to generate the random email also, that also we have seen, and then the random email we are updating with the random string here as well. So today we are going to talk about the put API. Put means you have to update the user, right? So for example, let's say if you go to the Postman and if you really want to fetch this particular user information, for example user 101, and then you can check that on gores.co.in also. These are the APIs that I'm going to use. So this is the put call they have given, that public v1 users slash user ID that you have to pass, and it will update the user. So what we have to do is we have to do a put call. So let's see first manually in Postman. So first I'm going to get this particular user information. For example, let's see 101. When you hit this user and the user ID, name, email ID is returned, and let's say I just want to update its status from inactive to active, then in that case how will I do that? So in that case I'll do one thing. This is my API URL, and I'll do one thing. I can quickly create a new request here. So this will be a put call, and fine. And the body that I'm going to pass with the JSON body, so I'll simply go to raw text JSON, and the body that we are going to pass it, this is only the specific body. So instead of passing this entire thing, we will simply send this particular status over here, because only specific part we have to update of that particular user. So let's see, this is the only status is inactive that I want to pass for this 101 user. And then any specific header and all such thing that you want to use it. Yes, I want to use my header as authorization. So this is my authorization bearer token that I'm going to use it. So I'll just create another authorization token, which is the bearer token is this. And this is my body, and for 101 it will be a put call. Put means just update the user and then send. So when you send it, you can see that now the user status is inactive. And then when you try to hit with the get call once again, see this here, that this is the get call, and then I'm writing, okay, inactive is already there, let's see, make it active now. So I'll say okay, fine, let's make it active, and then send it once again. And then now the user status is active. I'm getting 200 response code. And then I'm going to check it over here once again with 101 user. With the get call, I'm trying to fetch the information. Now you can see the user is active. Perfect. Now for example, let's say I want to update its email ID also. Right now it's info.com. So I'll say okay, fine, then I'll just put another JSON object like this, that what exactly the email ID that you want this time. So I say okay, fine, this time I'm saying this is karate@gmail.com is the new ID that I want to use for email ID. And then again you are sending the request like this. So here you can see the email ID is this, and then again you can hit the get call just to cross check it is working or not. So here you can see, yes, I'm getting karate@gmail.com like that. So this is the way the put call works. In put call, we just need to pass the information that you really want to update as a JSON payload, like a status, email ID or whatever, and then it will update the specific user in the database. It will not create a new entry. Remember this thing. Same thing we will do in the Karate with the in the form of feature file. So what I'll do, let me just go to the feature file, right click on it and go to new, and let's create a file over here. And let's see, this is my put call. So I'll write put API dot feature, and whatever the post that we have done, let's see, this is the post API dot feature. I'll just copy this. I don't want to type it again and again, and then we will try to modify it. So this is the feature file actually. Let me just rename it, refactor, rename. Or I'll do one thing, let me just delete this particular file and let me just create it again. Okay, so right click, new, and file name is put API dot feature, and click on finish. Okay, and then I'm going to use this particular feature. So first of all that, for example, the user ID is 101. So I'll say, okay, fine, for this user 101 that I want to update the user, or you can pick any other user also. So let's pick some other user. Let's see, do we have any user like 102? So I'll check with the 102 here. Okay, so and then we will see dynamically how can you create the user also. So here you can see that Amodini Menon is there with 102 user. So we will take this example 102. So let's see, this is 102. And what are the different things that you want to update? So I just want to update the status. Right now the current status is inactive. I want to make it active. Okay, and then the status code I'll be getting 200, and it will be a put call. So I'll be writing a put over here. And what else you want to verify? Data ID should be present, name should be present, and name should be what? Name should be Amodini Menon. It should be there. So I'm working on the existing data which is already available in the system, and then we will create a new user and then try to update the same user as well. And then whatever the email ID that you are expecting, let's see, for example, this is my email ID that I'm expecting, so I'll be writing that same email ID over here. So here you don't need to pass the complete information over here. Here you just need to say, okay, fine, this is my status that I want to update for 102 user, and this is a put call, and this is the API URL, and rest of the things will remain same. The token ID we are getting it from where? The token ID we are getting from the karateconfig.js file. Here this is the token ID, so you can use this particular variable directly in your feature file. Now let's see it is working or not. So I'll do one thing, right click on it, go to run as run configuration, and we can just simple say that this is my put API.feature. I can select this feature file and then apply and run. So let's see this is working or not. So here is giving you 0, and then let's see that this 102 user is now active or not. So let's cross check in the Postman. Right now this is inactive. I'm going to hit this request once again. Here you can see this is now active. Perfect. So this got updated, and if you see the result also from the Postman from the Karate, you can just check the HTML report here, and here you can see this is absolutely working fine. And then you can see your method is put for 102 user, and this is the request that you are creating, and you're just sending one status equal to active, and it got updated. Status code is 200, and rest of things are exactly same. So all the assertions and everything is working fine. Now for example, let's say you want to update its email ID also. So how will you update that? So you just need to write that, okay fine, now the email ID colon something like this that I want to write, that karate@gmail.com, and all the key value pair format are separated by comma, and then you simple write it like this. And then from the same user 102, now the new status will be inactive. Okay, from active to inactive once again, and then the email ID that I'm going to update. Perfect. So let's run it again and let's see. And then this is what the email ID I'm expecting from here. So I'll just write the same email ID here, because when you validate from the response, the email ID will be changed. So let's run it again. Okay, so this is running and one failed. Okay, let's see what is the error. So copy this, and we will try to refresh this. So here is saying status is 200, and it's saying the status code for 422 and expected 200. So 422 we are getting because the status is giving you 200. Let me check what kind of request that is sending. It's saying, okay fine, the user is 102, status inactive, karate@gmail.com. everything is fine. The only status, okay, it's saying that email ID is already taken. Okay, so email ID is already taken by someone else. So let's see, I'm passing karate11@gmail.com. Now let's run it again. So now I think this is again failed. Let's see what exactly the problem. Now it's saying, yeah, obviously assertion will be failed. Now everything is working fine. So this time what exactly we are expecting, karate11@gmail.com. So let's make it karate12@gmail.com and 12@gmail.com once again. And then let's run it again. And yeah, looks like it's absolutely working fine now. And then we will refresh it. everything is perfect. And then you can cross check in the Postman also for 102 user should be inactive, and the email ID should be karate12@gmail.com. So let's go to the get call and then check that. Yes, karate12@gmail.com, and the user is inactive over here. So this is absolutely working fine. Right guys? So this is the approach to do an update with the put call. But the problem here is that here we are already aware of that this 102 user is already there in the system, is already there in the database. But what if tomorrow 102 is not available? Someone has deleted this user, or you are running this particular test on some different environment where 102 user ID is not available. So what exactly the scenario that I want to create? So I want to first create a user with the post call, and then fetch the ID from that particular post call, and then I'm going to create a put call. So let's see what will be my scenario. How will you generate a scenario like this? Okay, so I'll do one thing. First of all, this is not a create user, this is just update a user, and update a user using post API, using put API actually. Now I'm going to create another feature file. My feature file is let's see, update user dot feature. Okay, and remove everything from here. So whatever the random mail dot feature or post API dot feature that we have taken, that also you can take it, or you can take this one as well. So I'll just do one thing, copy this entire script from the post call and then paste it over here. And now see this carefully what I'm doing it. So this is the function. It will generate the random string which will create a random email, and this is the post call that I'm using it. This is my request payload, and it will be appended over here. So you can just delete this thing, and request payload is equal to some random string at gmail.com. It will print the request payload, and then I'm creating a user first, and then I'm just checking, okay, data ID is available or not. I don't need to write any other separate assertions for that. Fine. And then I'm expecting data.id is present or not, and then I'm expecting 201 response code, and this is a post call because I'm creating a user. Perfect. Then I'll do one thing, that here now I'm going to create a put call. So now put call to update the user. Okay, so you can write a comment like here, and then first before this I'm just writing one, fetch the user ID. Okay, fetch the user ID from the post call response. So how will you fetch that? So this is creating a variable like a def variable, and then I'm saying, okay fine, this is my user ID which is equal to what, $data.id that I have fetched. And if you really want to print, so like this, you can just use it star print, and then I'm saying that the user ID, that whatever the user ID that you captured, you print it. And then I'm going to create my put call in the same scenario. So for the put call, the scenario is like that. Okay, so I'll do one thing, that this is my scenario. I can take it, complete scenario information. Okay, just paste it over here, and I don't need to create a separate scenario. I just need to put the step over here. So it will be part of the same scenario. It is like that, update a user with the given data. Okay, and this is my update user using put API. This is what I want to do that. So it will do one thing in the same scenario, fetch the user ID and everything, and then I'll say this is my comment for create a user with post call like this, and then fetch the user ID and then put call that I'm doing it. And then what will be the request payload in that case? So the request payload, I can do one thing. This is my request payload, that I can just simple copy this entire stuff. This is my request payload, and I can just simply somewhere put it over here. Okay, and then what exactly the value that you want to update? So initially we were creating let's see, Tom mail active, and some random email ID will be generated. So let's see, I want to make it first of all inactive, and the gender will be female, and remove name from here. These are the two things that I want to update, okay, for this particular user. And then whatever the user ID that you have captured, I remove the hard-coded value from here, and then I'll be writing this is the user ID, and it will be a put call, 200 status code present and everything, and then the name of this particular user is that you are expecting what if you really want to write an assertion, because while creating the user I'm writing a Tom here, so this will be by Tom. And then what is the email ID that you are expecting? So email ID that we were expecting, this request payload.email that you have created, same thing, exactly same thing we did it over here if you remember. So we can just copy this and then remove it this line, and request payload.email that we are expecting from the JSON payload from the put call. So these are the things that I want to validate that. Okay, so and then I can write one more assertion here that data ID should be user ID that you have already fetched from the post call. That also I want to use it, right guys? So this is my second call. This is my second call, I will say. This is my second call, and the first call will be the create user call. So this is my first API call, that will be web post call, and this is my put call. Okay, so let's see it is working or not. And remember, it should be part of the single scenario. Why? Because it's a complete scenario. So first we are creating the user and then we are updating it. So run configuration. Let's see, I'll say that is my update feature. I'll just select this feature file, apply and run. Let's see what happens. Okay, so let's see, it executed, but it's giving you one failure. Let's see what is the failure and we will try to debug it. So I'll just see the console. Here everything looks good. Only one thing, this is the commit. So commit is coming in the gray color, which is fine. It's saying that okay, expected actual value is this, but we are expecting null. Actual value is not null. Okay, so data email request payload.email. So first of all, let's see what is the user ID got created here. So when you see this is the user ID 2137. I'll cross check 2137 in the post call, sorry, in the Postman. So let's see for 2137 actually got created or not from the script. So here you can see, yes, it got created. This is the email ID and female and inactive. So you can see the data got updated with the female and inactive. So when we created the initial data, it was male and active. Now it is female and inactive. So data and everything is absolutely working fine. The only thing is that the email ID that we are fetching, this is your data.email ID, and the request payload.email, which is actually this is the update thing that we have given, right? Because now it's not having any email ID, so it is actually pointing to null. So what we can do is that I can say this is my request put payload that I'll be using it, and this is my request put payload. So I can just rename it, and then the request payload.email, that is I'm using from the post call. So this is my request post payload actually. Okay, so I hope this time it should work. Run as thing. Good that okay, we are getting these problems and then we are trying to solve it. Now looks like absolutely working fine. Nice. So let's see. Nice, this everything is in green color, and here you can see the first call is the post call, creating this particular user, okay, with all the information that we are passing. This time again it's generating one random email ID, and when you hit it, you are getting a response with 201, and then data is present, and then we were fetching the ID, this is 2141, which is printing it, and then the second call will start, and then creating the payload, that female and inactive. Initially it was male and active, you can see male and active. Now it is female and inactive with the put call with the same user ID. So here you can see the put call with the 2141, same 2141 will be appended over here in the put API, and then we are getting the response 200, and then everything is working fine like that. So this is what you can easily create one end-to-end scenario, and it's always a good practice. First you create a user, and then same user you can update. Otherwise what will happen in the previous example that we have seen, here you are using the hard-coded value, that is 102. What if 102 is not available tomorrow? So in that case it won't work. So I hope it's clear. So please practice and let me know if you are facing any issue. I'll just upgrade this particular code, update the code in my Git repository, and then after that you are good to go. So thank you so much guys. That's all for this particular video. I hope it's perfectly fine for you with the karate series. There are other videos also on karate I'll be uploading, and then we will see some other important features of karate as well. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and God bless you all.